Hey guys, Rorius here. Welcome back to Not For Broadcast. After so long. I mean, so long. In development time, it's not been long at all. But in terms of me really wanting to finish this game, feels like a lifetime ago we played it. I'm so excited to finish. A proportionate response. So keen to see how this story freaking concludes. If you don't remember, I mean, go back and watch the last episode. I should have probably done that as well. But I can remember vividly what happened sort of towards the end of the last couple of episodes. I'll leave a link up the top to the previous episode, but in short, one of our hosts was so passionate about the counter movement that they ended up killing themselves on live television. The following broadcast, Advance Party revealed that they had bombs planted all over Europe and detonated a bunch of them. Detonated a bunch of bombs in like capital cities across Europe as like a show of like, don't mess with us. And our daughter might be in one of those places. Because our daughter, along with one of our host's brothers, their brother, was overseas. Let's see what happens in this next broadcast. I'm going to be rusty as hell with the controls. I'm a little nervous about that, actually. Been living in a paradise. It's only nice if you don't think twice. I've been living in a paradise ever since you made advances on me. I love this song. Living where the food is free, a sanctuary for all and sundry. I've been living in an allegory ever since you made advances on me. Day 371. A proportionate response. Oh right, I forgot these things happen at the start. The rest of your shift passes in a blur with the same words going around and round in your head. Operatives working for advanced detonated nuclear explosives. Initial estimates put the death toll into the millions. Current wealth can afford coffee. Yeah. Did this really just happen? Yeah, I didn't mention it at the start, I probably should have. The game is now fully out, fully released. So this is the final episode, or I've been calling them chapters because I refer to my own videos as episodes. The final chapter of the game is out. You pull into the driveway with no memory of the journey home. The light in the front room is on. Clearly someone else is still awake. The door creaks open into the living room and you find Sam sitting on the sofa, staring at the TV. The screen is off and they're clearly lost in thought. You take a seat beside them and put a reassuring hand on their shoulder. They don't look at you, but they do reach up to take your hand in theirs. Now you're closer. You can see the tears flowing freely down Sam's face. Our little girl. I know I don't know what to do. What the hell can we do? The bastards killed Susie. So yeah, as I fucking expected, as I fucking called, our daughter's dead. She was in... What city was it? It was... I remember seeing it written somewhere, and then we saw that one of those cities that was bombed was the city that she had said she was in. She's dead. I remember at the end of the previous episode I was fucking tearing up. Shit, man. And millions of others. All because of their fucking war, which we never asked for. Behind the tears you see a fire, raw fury you've never seen in Sam before. I hate them, Alex. I know you've never been a fan of Advance, but after this, they're monsters. I need to know you understand that we can't just be indifferent. We need to actually do something. Advance said what was necessary. I'm glad they were prepared to do what we needed to protect us all. I don't think it's that simple. The country is suffering. This war has to end. Nothing can justify what they did, and anyone who tries is just as bad as they are. They fucking bombed, like, how many cities? There was like a bunch of cities. Relief spreads over Sam's face like a wave, and they collapse against you, clutching tightly. Clearly this was weighing heavily on them. You're not sure you've even processed it all fully yet, but at least you'll get through it together. Yeah. I was already broadcasting a final farewell. I was already broadcasting the disrupt messages. I was already going anti-advance after, I can't remember what point it was. I was like, there was some point where I was like, oh, there was that day where I censored the guy's music video. After that, I was like, no more. And it felt dirty. And ever since then, I've been broadcasting Disrupt's message, and I've not been censoring the blue censors. The last week has passed in a blur, a rush of things to do, but all immediately forgotten. Your memory clouded by a dark fog. 9 days since the so-called Liberation Night, and the beginning of Advance's new future. You weren't the first ones at the church today. You were staggered by the number of people who have come to mourn with you. Everyone here for the same reason, sharing the same pain, the same sense of loss. It's written all over their faces, much as it would be on yours. You step away from everyone else, needing space to gather your thoughts. Your daughter, poor little Susie, gone. Sam has said little since that evening. They're still getting over that shock. But when you walk over and squeeze their hand, they squeeze back tightly. You'll get through this together. You can only imagine how awful it would be to face this alone. There hadn't even been a coffin to bury. All because I let frickin' Susie go overseas. Man, it's like 100 days later. An academic exodus. It's a seemingly ordinary morning, but as you get into work, you find a small crowd gathered in the break room. When you go in to grab your first cup of tea of the day, you can't help but overhear some excited chatter. You didn't hear? Yeah, another one's gone missing. What's that bring the total up to now? Oh, I should think over 100 at this point. They won't all have been reported or noticed yet. Sorry, what's going on? I'm giving them American accents by accident. I should give them British accents. An excited young woman turns to you and begins to explain. Another professor went missing from Queen's University. With all the other disappearances over the last year, scientists, doctors, researchers. She pauses before lowering her voice to a whisper. It's clearly Disrupt targeting the people speaking out against them. I even heard Advance is struggling to prevent further. A deep, familiar voice from behind you interrupts. What exactly is going on here? Wait. They think it's Disrupt silencing people? A silence overtakes the room as you all turn in unison towards the doorway. I thought it was Bozeman. Bozeman clears his voice before continuing. I've told you before, I don't want to hear about these so-called disappearances. Come on now, people. Advance have been very clear that they're nothing to worry about, which means they're not our problem. And unless they start classing cappuccinos as intellectual, I don't think anyone here has anything to worry about. Best get back to work. Oh my god. Bozeman holds up a hand to keep you as everyone else files out of the room. Look, I know you have a habit of doing what you want, but things are different now. Advance runs the show, and they've made their feelings clear. So now I'm doing the same. Channel 1's official position is that the government has things well in hand. Nothing more, nothing less. I trust I won't be hearing talk about this again. Gives you a curt nod before leaving. It seems that, for better or worse, public ownership is now in full swing. Yeah, so basically, once again, another like 150 days later, Jesus. A career in the making. Once again, I'm being told, like, we have to go with Advance, what they're saying. You drum your fingers on the steering wheel impatiently as you wait for Charlie again. But Charlie, that's our son. It's great he's enjoying the Cohesion Cadets, and is so enthusiastic. But does he really need to stay behind every week to help? It's just Saturday evening too, after all. Finally you see him exit the hall, and a grin on his face. How could Charlie still be with them? They fucking killed his sister. You can't help but smile back, the frustration's starting to fade as you see him so genuinely happy. After hugging his friends goodbye, Charlie heads over to the car and gets in, his face flush with excitement. So how was... You're interrupted as he can't contain himself any longer. Guess what? What? You play along with a smile. Alright, Charlie, come down and tell me what? Play along with a smile. So obviously the Cohesion Cadets is a starting point for becoming a CCO, so we get a head start when applying for that. Charlie gushes, clearly keen on explaining his news, almost tripping over the words in his effort to tell you. I'm tripping over my words. Terrible. Well, apparently from next year, the top 5 of cadets will be taken to a special program to become CCMs, Community Cohesion Managers. And guess who's going to be in it? He beams at you. I see. And what exactly do these cohesion managers do? That's great news, Charlie. We're all so proud of you. With a grin from ear to ear, he sits back in his seat. Yeah, I'm so glad I joined. I can't wait to tell everyone. You chuckle. I think a celebration is in order. How about we pick up some takeaway on the way home? Yes, Soko. Soko? And the rest of the car ride is spent with Charlie listing every takeaway he can think of. Great to see him doing so well. I fake a smile to make Charlie feel better. A spark to light the flames. You're surprised to find Sam in bed next to you when you wake up. They must have got in very late last night from drinks with the folks from school. You decide to let them sleep in and enjoy a lazy Sunday morning. That's right. They keep it gender neutral. Sam could be a boy or a girl, a male or a female. Yeah, they always use they. You decide to let them sleep in. I always just assume, like, standard family, nuclear family, male-female relationship, just because that's how I've been brought up, how I've been programmed, even though I'm gay. That's just how I've been programmed. But, yeah, feel free to insert whatever. With the house quiet, you decide to bring some breakfast into the living room to watch some TV while you eat. This is breaking news. Reports are coming in from across the country that large swaths of farmland went up in flames. Why do I keep putting American accents on the things? Went up in flames last night as part of what the authorities are calling a heinous and well-planned act of terrorism by the group known as Disrupt. You drop your spoon back into the porridge and turn up the volume. In addition to food stores, which government sources have said will put a strain on universal menu centers countrywide, a number of CCO and civic buildings were targeted in last night's attack. According to Prime Minister Julia Salisbury, specific prisons and re-education and betterment facilities were raided, and a small selection of problematic and potentially dangerous individuals were forcibly extracted from lawful custody. You hold your breath waiting to hear if anyone got hurt. Uh-oh. I knew I should have tried to... I'm like, I want to be nice to our son. I want him to be happy. But I know I'm gonna get him fucking killed, aren't I? Unfortunately, it appears that the CCOs were ill-prepared for an event like this, and Disrupt seemed much more effective and well-organized in comparison. While most of the targeted locations were thankfully empty of people given the lateness of the hour, the betterment centers were fully staffed when they came under attack. 17 CCOs and 4 administrative staff lost their lives as a result of the brutal actions of Disrupt last night, with countless more injured, many seriously and rushed to hospital. I don't know why that sounds... I tripped over that sentence for some reason. Feel free to tell me why. A few Disrupt members were captured during the conflicts, but the vast majority seem to have evaded capture so far. More on the story as it develops. You gotta turn off the TV. You're interrupted by Charlie walking into the living room, blary-eyed with a piece of toast. Anything interesting going on? He gestures to the TV. Mutely, you leave the news on as they cycle through the story again. Charlie watches in a hushed silence. By the end of the broadcast, they're dubbing it The Night of Fire. Everything is going to be okay, right? I hope so. We'll have to see. I wonder if you calculated how many days this is. Because the game is broadly set, well, initially at least. Initially, it's broadly set in the 80s. So I'm curious as to, like, how long the game takes place. Because it's approximately, like, 3 years after the first day. It's not 3 years yet. But it's at least, it's a good way on the way to 3 years. It's about 100 days off 3 years. An uprising. A year and a half since... Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah.
Alex?
Oh?
Are you receiving? This is Alan James. The revolution starts tonight, Alex, and we need your help. Throughout this broadcast, we're going to ask you to do things that will directly help with this mass protest. I'll be talking to you regularly tonight, and I'll also be hacking in when I can. Please help get our message out. We're on the verge, Alex. You've always been fair and balanced in your approach to us. With your help, we can tip the balance in our favor.
Yeah.
If you play our tape at the second break, that's when we think it will have the most impact. It's on your right.
Episode of Just the Job, followed at 10 p.m. by a chance to see the very last episode.
Because I don't want to go on a date with your cousin, Colin.
What
Oh.
have you got to lose?
Dignity, my reputation.
It's all right once you get past the teeth and the problematic tattoo.
I am perfectly capable of messing up my own love life.
Sorry about that. David wouldn't get off the phone.
Oh, is David single?
For Christ's sake, Colin, stay out of it.
I can
Oh.
help you. I'm an expert at romance. Ask my ex-wives.
Please don't set me up with your brother. That's 10 seconds, everybody.
You're not as tight, babe.
Oh.
Too smart.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Good evening. This is the National
Right.
Nightly News, broadcasting across the territories. My name is Megan Wolf. Our top stories tonight: ashes to ashes. It's been 40 days since Disrupt conducted attacks across the territories. The coordinated action, dubbed the Night of Fire by commentators, was seen as an attempt to subvert the supply chain, but there may have been more to it.
Sure.
After a roadside IED toppled the convoy, prisoners, including Portia Hamilton-Mann, the daughter of the former Prime Minister, were freed and have subsequently vanished. The escapees are presumed to have fled the territories. Here at Channel 1, we say good riddance to bad rubbish. Food
That's
glories
not what I
food.
wanted.
With the last of the menu centres opening in territories 5, 8 and 14 today, Advance confirmed that the programme is now in full operation, providing free food for every citizen of the new future. What started as rationing during the 20-week war has blossomed into a social contract that is the envy of the unawakened world. Jack Tractorpants, spokesman for the menu centres, said today that while they can guarantee the contents of every box is nutritious, the actual quality of the meals you cook depends on whether you have a touch of Chef Jordan Rankley or the culinary skills of a professional footballer. Happy talk. Record happiness levels have been reported today across the territories. As more and more former countries join the new future, a survey carried out by scientists at Queensview University reveals a stunning fall in depression, self-harm and suicides, especially in those territories which have historically faced the most unjust of indivisions. According to the professors, the binominal trajectories of the Bezier distribution show signs of becoming both inverted
I don't know what the
and
fuck's being said.
protracted when dispersed over the square root of time. By applying Harrington's third law in conjunction with the vowels variation, we can clearly see that things are looking mathematically good for Julia Salisbury and Advance. Any dream will do. Oddball Disrupt spokesman Alan James today set out Disrupt's vision for what he calls a return to free society. However, the problematic provocateur avoided answering any questions on the movement's increasingly sinister tactics. Leading commentator and regular guest on the National Nightly News, Katie Brightman, has been notably outspoken against both Disrupt and Mr. James himself. Her family reported today that she's not been seen since last Tuesday. And a few stories we've been following for a while reached their conclusion.
I don't know if that's what I want
tonight.
either.
Swing low, sweet chariot. The national outbreak of low-hanging testicular syndrome has been finally
Wait, it's
traced
the
back to
same.
the activities of Rimington's Fist. What had at first seemed like a booming success for Sophia Rimington's pet project has ended uncomfortably for men throughout the territories.
Oh.
A slightly tipsy Sophia, who resigned this morning, commented that the men should stop whinging before driving off so quickly that one photographer's foot and both of his nuts were run over in the kerfuffle after falling out of the bottom of his trousers. A painful end to a difficult reign of the youngest female CEO in history.
I wonder if they couldn't get her
Fun
back.
guy.
Hence why she's
Unexpected news today
gone.
as two familiar scientists announced the birth of an extraordinary child. The underground struggle of doctors David Wong and Ingrid Sporsborg-Horgensvoord captured the hearts of people around the world.
Yes.
And after an arduous return voyage, which took over a year, the couple say they've never been happier. Baby Dante
Their
is
mushroom
healthy,
baby.
if a bit partial to the airing cupboard. Man on. Footballer Johnny Handsleeves and his new wife Tiffany Lamore proudly announced today that their
These look
little
the
team
same.
was 1-0 up at full time, which apparently means that they're having a baby. Once beset by tabloid controversy, Johnny seems to be settling well into family life. calling this latest news the ultimate golden goal, if a golden goal also peed on you. All that, plus we'll be taking a trip to dangly parts for the notice board, as well as getting a sneak peek at the hottest ticket in town. That's all coming up on tonight's National Nightly News.
Okay. Oh. No. No! I forgot how to
help us again. Come out of your houses, block the traffic, bring the capital to a standstill. I've met so many of you in my travels up and down Territory 1. You always ask the same question. How can I help? Well, this is how. And as for when, you'll know. Keep watching.
I thought there was a shortcut version of that.
But first, 500 days after the loss of a fine leader and a great man, the start of tonight's programme is dedicated to remembering and celebrating the life of Peter Clement. Patrick Bannon is live from Parliament Park, where Julia Salisbury will be breaking ground on what will soon be a memorial garden in Peter's honour. Patrick.
Listening to that old bitch lying through her teeth about missing that poor bar.
Patrick,
I don't know what I'm going to do.
we're live.
Because I'm not being funny. Things were better with Peter, weren't they?
Patrick?
They were, and I don't mind saying it. They were, because he held her back. But now there's no stopping her.
Hello, Patrick, we're
Of
live.
course, can't say that, can I, Francis? No, not with public ownership. No, with public ownership, you can't say anything these days. She's lost it, mate. She's completely off the rocker. I heard from an aide that... Hello, Megan, you join me here live from the what? Hello, Megan, you join me here live from the what?
Seems like we've lost some signal there for a moment. Well, we will be going live to that groundbreaking ceremony just as soon as we can get Patrick back. Meanwhile, let me just say, I think the memorial gardens are going to be gorgeous. I've had a sneak peek at the designs and Alana Marsh has done a fabulous job. Oh, okay, all right, it seems like we have got the signal back. We can now go live to Patrick Bannon in Parliament Park. Patrick.
Thank you, Megan. I'm Patrick Bannon, and we are indeed live here. Apologies for the technical difficulties there, but any moment now, Julia Salisbury will step out on stage behind me.
Alex, Bozeman here. The boys in editing have just informed me that the eulogy footage isn't fully cut together yet. You're going to have to do it on the
Oh my
fly.
god, of course.
For goodness sake, make sure you make it look good.
Slowly gathering since this afternoon.
This is Alan. You can undermine them here and help us win hearts and minds. Make him look bad, Alex. Really bad.
And it seems like the ceremony is getting underway. Here is Prime Minister Julia Salisbury, the picture of elegance, to begin her address.
Good evening, fellow teammates and friends. 500 days ago, all of our lives changed irrevocably. Still reeling from the triumphs and tribulations of Liberation Night, another great loss befell the people of these newly united territories. The loss of a leader, a statesman, a dear friend, and a hero. Peter Gordon Clement.
Peter's death at the age of just 62, of course, announced by the team on the 24th of December, just 6 weeks after Liberation Night.
Born to a working-class family on a housing estate in Rotherham, Peter first trained as a carpenter before getting his start on television. First moving and building scenery, and then developing into the personality that we all knew and loved so much.
Just the Job first hit our screens over 25 years ago, running for 11 series, winning multiple awards, and charming audiences up and down the country.
Peter taught us, all of us, not to be content with the way things are, not to accept inequities, no matter how small. But he also taught us what it took to fight them. Courage, integrity, empathy, and hard, bloody graft.
Across a career spanning 3 decades, Peter Clement was known for shows including Wake Up, It's Saturday, and much later, late night chat show PT, which at its peak drew millions of viewers.
Peter was by no means a saint. Trust me, he once told me he had more regrets than he'd had stolen dinners. He always did have a knack for a turn of phrase. But It speaks to the strength of his character, that he chose to share with us his mistakes alongside his achievements, his faults as well as his talents. Peter had the heart to give it all he had for the people of these united territories.
Famous for his potty mouth, it's estimated conservatively that Peter Clement uttered over 1.5 million swear words during his career, though some sources put this figure well in excess of 2 million F-bombs alone.
Gripped by illness as he was in the weeks and months leading up to Liberation Night, he wasn't the man we loved. But his eyes still twinkled with that familiar joy for life, that spark of wit and wisdom of a life lived for others.
Prime Minister Clement, of course, died from apparent liver failure after suffering from the long-term effects of alcohol abuse.
I first met Peter nearly 20 years ago, moments before I was supposed to give a speech. Not unlike this one, actually. Only I'd spilt coffee all down myself, and I was young, nervous, desperate to be liked, and from behind me I heard, "Christ, pet, you've either pissed your kecks or sprung a leak, but either way you got a problem." And before I could even say a word, he stripped off his dry trousers and insisted I took them. That was the sort of man that Peter Clement was. Kind, compassionate, sensitive, a brilliant thinker, a natural leader, but mostly a good man. This glorious nation of ours, so beautiful and new, this shining beacon of
Thank you, Alex. There'll be another opportunity to steer public perception soon. It's really starting. You'll know when.
Despite his accomplishments, the future he forged, the boundaries he pushed.
I was doing well and
To me,
took too long.
he'll always be the man in his pants, cheering on a stranger at the back of the conference. It is my great honour to give to you the Peter Clement Memorial Garden. Shall we see if we can get a countdown going? Everyone with me? 10, 9, 8, 7.
Now, Alex, control the message.
Secure Songbird.
I'm not leaving, I can't!
Oi!
You two, come with me! Don't panic! Help us here, look.
You're hurting me!
Well, stop resisting then. Stop resisting and we'll let you up.
I'm not resisting!
What are you doing?
Oh, I did the wrong thing.
Turn the camera off. National Night News. We have the right to be here.
Yes, Mom!
Keep your eyes open.
Who the fuck are you?
Oh, I can't hear you. I can't hear anything.
Yes.
Go. Just stay with me.
You are from the National Nightly News.
Well, then you can consider this payback. Salisbury's still here. Salisbury's still here. Julia Salisbury! You were killed!
Target approaching Songbird.
More than 10! Justice demands a response!
Haven't you done enough? Look around you! This is what your precious freedom looks like, is it? Open fire!
Territory 1, rise up! Take to the streets, the time has come! Stop fires! Break windows, draw them out! They can't stop us all! Resist! Distract!
Lower your weapons! Location secure. Lower your weapons now! Send.
Come on, get out there! What are you doing? Come on!
Will you turn that off, please, sir? I said, please turn that off. Please turn that off.
Shocking scenes from the capital there, exclusively. Shocking scenes from the capital.
You've just seen them execute unarmed civilians. People like you and me. So why are you watching this? Why are you not in the streets
Oh, it's
with
the
us
scroll
tonight?
wheel. That's what it
What would
is.
it take for you to get up and be a part of this?
March on team
I forgot that's how it
Storm
worked.
the building. Demand elections. Demand answers. Be what you were born to be. The once and future free.
That means by now. Don't go away. We'll be back after this.
That didn't go so well, Alex.
Is everyone safe for the
But we can turn it around in the next segment.
Was a good distance from the unit base.
Oh, I didn't do as well.
Weekly event.
Damn it.
Different
Shit.
tonight. This is the big one.
Great. So there's a revolution happening.
Well, I mean, I suppose the whole event didn't go so well. Yeah.
That's journalism, apparently. We get set for the next sequence.
Well, things are going pretty well.
Ooh, Super Grade D. Oh, do I replay the segment? Maybe I'll try and redo it and do it a little better, because I was very rusty. I'll skip it, so you don't have to watch it.
We'll be back after this. We'll be back.
Thank you, Alex. From all of us, you're doing
That's
great.
better.
Was a good distance from the unit base.
That was much better.
This is becoming a weekly event. No, it's different tonight. This is the big one.
Great. So there's a revolution happening outside and we're off to dandy fucking parks.
That's journalism, apparently. We get set for the next sequence.
Ah, still only a C. Fine. Whatever. I really thought I'd done that really well. Look at my viewership. Wow. That ad has swearing in it.
Alex, during this next section, a cameraman working in the newsroom who's one of us is going to get a coded location out. We don't know yet which camera he's on, but if we find out, I'll let you know. Just keep your eyes out for the fist and try and keep it on the air for at least 5 seconds. Our operatives will do the rest.
Okay.
This is your new makeup artist, Craig.
No.
What?
No.
10 seconds, everybody.
Sorry, Craig. It's a no.
Okay, we are going in
Aw.
5, 4, 3.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News with me, Megan Wolfe. Very shortly, we'll be heading on over to the final episode of what has quickly become a hugely successful feature, the notice board. But before we do, let's chat with Philippa Radon. Tell me, why do you think the public love the notice board so much?
It's real. There, I said it. It connects with people. You know, people look at us and they say, those are real people struggling with real problems.
That's a really interesting point.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying to my PA secretary as I got out the limo, I was saying, it's good for people to see normal, authentic people like them on TV.
People like you.
Yeah, precisely. Unfortunately, then I was interrupted by some dreadful wretch who wanted an autograph, but a swift kicking from security soon put him back in line.
Yes, well, I think it's really good that our screens are filled with such relatable stories. So, the notice board is coming to an end after a sensational time at the top. What do you think has made this show so successful?
It's a combination of so many things. My hard work, my talent, my look.
Wow, you really have a lot to thank you for.
Hey, hey, hey. You're welcome.
We've just heard our man's on camera 4.
I have a real sense of responsibility now. You know, a sense I've been entrusted
Get back to the interview, Alex.
precious, and that I should use that platform for good.
Said to.
Yeah, I think that's really important. That
That's it to show
this
it
platform
5 seconds.
to do good in the world. I agree.
That's exactly it. So I've decided to help as many
Excellent work, Alex. That's the location shared. Next, you'll need to give them the go.
Is that better access to education, or reducing child poverty?
Oh, no, by adopting as many as I can get my hands on.
Oh, okay. How many children have you adopted?
Oh, we're well into the double figures now, Megan. I stopped counting in the late 30s.
Goodness, that is a lot of children.
Yeah, once we finish pushing them into the guest room, I'll have to put a futon in the laundry cupboard.
Oh, you really are some sort of hero.
Hey, I live a privileged life. What can I say? I mean, any child I can take on is a child rescued from suffering.
Poor children. Were their lives really that bad before?
Oh, they're Northerns, I presume so.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it's shocking to think, actually, that only 1 in 10,000 children have a celebrity parent.
I'd never thought of it that way before.
And I'm doing everything I can to fix those numbers. What do you think it is about your life that's so desirable then?
Well, it's mainly shame and panic interspersed with expensive bottled water, so actually, if anyone wants to, I'd happily trade.
Now that I can relate to. Right, you better go off and get ready. That was Philippa Radin sharing some thoughts about her lifestyle. I think it's really important to stay grounded and keep everything in perspective. Clearly, not everyone else agrees, but
I think I missed the second message.
Let's go now over to Dangly Parts for the final ever episode of the Notice Board.
What a day! First the tea morning, and now to post this notice. I don't know how I managed to cope with it all. Oh wait, perhaps I do. Oh! By St. Barnabas, what on earth is all this?
Freeze, dirtbag!
Oh, Laura, it's you. I thought for a moment you were a knife-wielding mugger or stabber.
No, I'm afraid not. It's just me, a community cohesion officer, responsible for keeping crime at record lows.
Of course. Keep forgetting that thanks to you and your colleagues, violence on our streets is a thing of the past.
What's all this, Vicar?
I know! It's a disgrace. Somebody...
It's time for the go code. Give us 3 boos in a row, Alex. That will start the pincer movement. We might just pull this off. Push forward! 3 boos, Alex.
Careful, Vicar. It looks heavy.
Ha! They don't call me the Right Reverend. Ripped for no reason.
Yes!
It's no good.
It looks like all those crucifix classes were a waste of time.
Perhaps you, a young CCO, would be able to use it.
2 for 2. Fantastic.
Looks like all those lifting classes were a waste of time.
It's too heavy, even for me, a strong and capable
You did it, Alex. We're good to go. Charge!
to lift this.
Did someone call for the best firefighter in town?
Oh my god.
Hiya!
Well done, Captain Evans. You're so much stronger than us.
Especially me, the weak old man.
It's the least I could do for my community.
No luck catching the little devil then?
Unfortunately not. The ferret struck again last night. When Ray opened the post office this morning, he found that every single stamp had been pre-licked.
My God!
Some people have no decency.
Sadly, if we don't catch him before tomorrow, we may have to cancel the village fete.
Don't worry, we won't let that happen. Will we, Vicar?
No. Laura, tell me, why do they call him the ferret?
Some say it's because of his sneaky nature. But
been
really it's
totally
because whenever he strikes, he always leaves behind
absorbed.
a foul stench of urine.
Never fear, officer. We'll catch this pissy nuisance and save the village fate. Or my name's not Captain Danger Evans.
That guy.
The community cohesion team are doing their best, but they simply don't have the smarts to solve this mystery. But I know someone who does. Someone who's about to blow this thing wide open. Me! Blackout!
Ah, it's the morning of the village fete, thanks to theatrical convention.
I sure hope everything goes to plan. Oh, look! There's Mrs. Craven setting up her cake stall.
And look, There's the motorcycle display team, setting up for a show that will be far too expensive for live television.
I'm going to set up the coconut shy. What are you doing, Vicar?
First, I'm running the tombola. Then, I'll be selling forgiveness for money.
Aren't you judging the jams?
I couldn't possibly.
Well, that sounded like Mrs. Craven. Looks like someone sucked all the jam out of her donuts.
Damn ferret has struck again!
Whatever are we to do?
Although I'm very competent, I have no idea how to solve this case.
I guess we'll just have to cancel the fate.
Hold it right there, ferret.
Me? Have you been drinking from the fire extinguishers again?
Not you, the vicar.
I ran it. Missed it.
What you're talking about?
Admit it. You wanted the village fete cancelled so you could have the day off, didn't you?
I already have to work Sundays. I shouldn't have to work 2 days a week.
But how did you know?
Well, my first clue was the smell.
Yes, I do smell of urine.
Next, I noticed that the vicar's tongue was particularly dry, almost as if he'd been licking thousands and thousands of stamps.
Or perhaps eating Mrs. Craven's baking.
Which brings me on to my third clue. The vicar said that he had no more room for jam.
Almost as if he'd had his fill.
Precisely.
But you managed to figure it all out from that?
Well, I also found this at the scene.
That proves nothing. No!
Get him out of here, officer!
You did it, Captain. You could say you ferreted him out.
Hey, come on. Let's go and have a party in my massive garden. I am doing well.
Thanks to you, we're all doing well.
Well, that was it. The final ever episode of the Notice Board. And
Wow.
what a way to end it. Thank you as always, Jeff, Philippa and Tommy. After the break, we'll be both dancing and learning. So don't change that channel. We'll be right back.
That's the ads. Well done, everybody.
Wow! What a brilliant run, eh? After party at my place, eh?
Alex, this station is supposed to be unbiased. Your partisan behavior will end up getting us taken into public ownership even sooner. Less revolutionary zeal. Do your job.
The after party.
And how progressive their policies are. Well, I was wrong. And I'm here tonight to say...
Yeah, I got a B for that one. That's better.
to beg for your forgiveness.
One last push, Alex.
Oh, is that the woman?
Guest in the last section is working with us. You'll be asked to censor on our behalf. If you do it right, the final orders will be given. You'll get 3 chances. Get at least 2 of them right, and we're going to win this thing. It's happening, Alex. Tonight we take it back.
I can hear fucking bombs dropping in the distance.
I didn't think about the damage they would do. I acted selfishly.
Yeah, I think this is the...
Punished. I didn't see how backwards advance were. I didn't understand that rather than tearing down the wealth creators, we should have been helping everyone else to take a seat at their table.
I think this is that Katie.
Advance, the country is poorer. It is poorer in ambition. It is poorer in aspiration. We are
I have almost maximum viewership though.
Please, Sarah, anything.
Mum, I'm really not supposed to say.
Are we safe?
Hi, I'm Maddie. Johnny just said to ask if you need a touch-up.
I have
Did she?
myself out to the media to defend the
That's my shade, is it?
Yeah.
This is my shade?
I see that now.
Oh my god.
Dad.
You can run back to
I'm
Jenny
sorry.
now.
Our only hope.
Sorry about that, Sarah. Nothing you can tell me. At all, like at all.
They've said no one's died, that's all I can say.
10 seconds.
What's wrong with you?
What?
She is in tears.
Ugh.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Okay.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Later in this segment, we're hoping to be able to go back to Patrick Bannon at the scene of tonight's shocking Disrupt attack. But first, I'm delighted to be joined by the cast of the smash hit musical everyone is talking about. I'll be speaking with the cast in a moment, but first, let's take a look at them in action. Please give a warm National Nightly welcome to the Novaries.
Hello? Doctor? Yes, I see. Thank you for letting me know. I have a
musical.
life. I'm a happy, loving wife. And my job is well paid and fulfilling. I have a husband, John. He's due home soon, won't be long. And I have to tell him something that is absolutely chilling. We share coffee in the morning, and we make love every day. We take time alone together to talk and laugh and play. We prioritize our needs. We do charitable deeds. But the flowers of a happy life are now beset by weeds.
I'm home.
Oh, darling John.
Oh, dearest John.
There's something very wrong. I've just had a conversation with our doctor, David Wong, so please be seated. This news will make you feel defeated. The scans revealed a lump.
You poor unlucky chump. Is it cancer?
Worse, oh, John.
It's hard to do.
Oh, woe is me. Why has this happened to me? I always wear 2 condoms for the maximum of
Safety in our tiny flat. We built a peaceful habitat. Now our lives are fucked. We're having a baby. Now you can't have any wine at book club.
And there won't be any time for foot rubs.
Now your hair will stink of weed.
And you'll start to disagree.
And forget about that holiday in Territory 3. No more waking up at 10:30. In fact, you're never going to get a good night's sleep again. No more snap decisions to go on to a club. You'll be lucky if you even make it out to the pub.
Why can't we be more like our gay and lesbian jobs?
The only glue they have to deal with comes from personal bums.
Now when I take a sick day at home,
The parasite won't leave you alone.
how he's grown.
Yikes.
We're our top priority. I look after you, and you look after me. Ain't no trouble and strife. We got a childless life. No one wails and no one bawls. No one draws things on the walls.
A happy husband.
A wonderful wife.
We got a childless life. We're having a baby. We're having a baby. Changing nappies daily. We're having a baby. No more weekends by the coast. Now your kid is uppermost. It's more than a passing craze to have childless days. We're having a baby. Food and drink thrown everywhere. Death trap toys at the top of the stairs. Every parent prays to have childless babies. We're having a baby. No more smiles and no more. We're having a baby. 18 years on bills at least. Time for a whole new phase. We're having a baby. One more thing before the show begins. Have you considered that you might be having twins?
Damn it.
Amazing. amazing. The Novaries there, treating us to their opening number from Elegy for a Childless Life, which is currently the hottest ticket in the Capital Theatre District, and will be touring the territories later this year. Right then, come on you lot, come on down, let's go, don't be shy. Hello.
Hi, Megan.
Hi.
It's an honour to be here.
Oh, really? Are you fans of the show? Yeah, it used to be. Well, listen, let's get stuck in. Your amazing musical. Now, I mean, not only do you perform this show every single night,
With matinees on Wednesday and Saturday.
right, but you're also the show's creators, am I right?
Well, everyone contributed their ideas, and then some of us went away and did the actual work on the script. But no, it's very much a team effort.
Oh, that's fantastic. How rude of me. I've not introduced any of you. I'll be the one being replaced next. Let's go down the line, shall we?
Hi, I'm Jack.
Jim Blunt. Pleasure to be here.
Jennifer Boreham Woodley.
Hello, I'm John Sapley. Used to be in the business professionally.
My name's Jill, with a J.
And I'm Janet. I'm the youngest.
That's incredible. And you were all friends previously. I mean, what a coincidence, right? With your names beginning with a J.
Oh my goodness, guys! Our names all begin with J.
How have we never noticed that?
Because you haven't typed them out 1,000 times, maybe?
You knew? Why didn't you say anything?
I thought we all knew. It's bloody obvious, isn't it? I just thought we were doing a funny thing where we never mentioned it.
Oh my God.
I believe as well as being friends, you're also couples. You know, in real life as well as in the show.
Well, oh, well, not exactly.
I'm not married to him. I'm with Janet.
And I'm with John, you lucky bean.
Jim and I are married.
4 fabulous years.
Well, that must make for some confusion in the rehearsal room.
Well, you should have seen the first draft. Jen decided that Jack would play Jim, I would play Jack, Jen Janet, Jill Jen, Janet Jill.
What about John?
Well, my character was originally just called Man 1.
It was allegorical.
It was very confusing.
Not for a professional.
After much toing and froing.
And gnashing and wailing.
And gin and tonic.
We decided that we'd just use our own names, which is less truthful.
We're also less likely to go into the wrong dressing rooms.
Oh God, yeah, that would be very embarrassing, wouldn't it?
Of course, when I first wrote it, we were only meant to run for a few nights at the Mimbley Village Hall, but when I registered it with the Department for Culture, it caught the eye of someone high up, and before you could say overnight sensation, we were transferring to the capital.
It's all been a bit of a roller coaster, really. I'm only 19. I'm the youngest.
You really don't have to repeat that.
I had to give up my job as a mortuary technician.
Well, yes, we all had to move to the capital.
I love that job.
It's been a very turbulent time.
So peaceful, no singing. So peaceful.
This piece isn't.
Stand by, Alex. Censor the orange.
It's about children and why you shouldn't have them.
In a way, I guess it is political, with a small p. After all, we are a solid unit, and eagle-eyed audience members will see we nod our heads to advance on stage throughout, and we target the messaging at women aged 22, well, about 35, as they're the most likely to be afflicted by this terrible problem. Terrible problem.
Having children.
You understand, Megan.
You clearly agree.
Wow, this isn't about me. Of course, we see that there are advantages to a family unit, but eagle-eyed couples watch as the little parasites advance on their lives, and there's no time to play the guitar, get through a book, or watch a movie. They're exhausted, passed out on the couch by 20 to 9, for God's sake.
You're chatty tonight, dear.
Usually I'm the chatty one. Because
you're the youngest, we know. It's not a badge of honour, Janet.
Janet, please, Jennifer. Oh, well said, John. Thanks, Janet. Got you back.
So could you just tell us what is the play about? What happens in it?
Well,
go ahead.
It's a tragedy, obviously. Jennifer, myself, and John have their child, and then the story charts the downfall of their hopes and dreams.
And there's lots of singing.
And dancing.
A lot.
My character works at a menu centre for a distribution unit. Eagle-eyed, she sees her friend's rapid advance to a pit of despair. Becoming a target for children's TV advertising at the age of 22, she decides to take drastic action.
This is tough.
I can't really say more, though. probably said too much already.
Let's not spoil the second act for anyone who might come to see it.
Which should be all of you. For too long, we've been told that a life without children is somehow incomplete.
I think we're sending out a
That
message.
children are a blessing. Well, I've done the research, and they're not. Besides, there's already loads of bastards running around all over the place, so...
We just want people to have the option of a happy, child-free life without stigma. You know, when I was 14, before I had come out, I had an experience with a girl called Julia Jacobs. She was an experiment, I guess, you know, a chance to dip my toes into the...
Fascinating. Well, thank you all so much for coming in tonight. I really hope you keep them dancing in the aisles for many performances to come. The notary's there. And I am pleased to say we can now go back to Patrick Bannon to get the latest from the scene of tonight's horrific events. Patrick, are you okay?
Thank you, Megan. This is Patrick Bannon reporting from the scene of tonight's devastating and symbolic attack tonight this evening. An attack which I myself have found myself caught up in. I'm still a little dazed and a little deaf, Megan, so I hope you'll forgive me if I seem that it's time to speak with the Prime Minister. Mrs. Salisbury, that's you. You're still here. The Prime Minister.
I couldn't leave, not when there were people that needed help. Any team player would have done the same. I don't deserve praise for being human.
There's like
Yes, no
gunfire
accolades
and
here.
bombs going off in the
Palisades.
background.
Or lemonade. Right. So, is the situation now? Are we safe?
Yes, the security services performed their duties without hesitation, and I would like to assure the public that although there have been some injuries, there were no civilian deaths here this evening.
Oh, that's good news about the Sorry, did you say no deaths?
That's right. No civilian deaths. Just the 4 disrupt terrorists curtailed by law enforcement, who were, as always, so cohesive. If I may, I have a message.
The whole screen is like
Oh,
shaking.
Speak there, on the camera there.
Stay at home tonight. Do not become another casualty of war. Disrupt have had their moment, but as the dear departed Peter Clements once famously said, it ends today.
Thank you, Prime Minister, for those strong words of strength. Back to the studio. Megan, now in the studio with Megan Wolf now.
Patrick Bannon there, bravely reporting from the front line of tonight's horrifying bombing. Maybe you need to get checked out, Patrick. Well, that brings us to the end of tonight's National Night News, but before we go, tonight's National Night News.
Victory is in sight, my friends. You have mobilized. You have come together. From our agents at the television networks risking arrest and getting those words to you, to the many hundreds and thousands gathering to invade team headquarters. As I speak, we are turning the tide, and it is time for change. Tonight we topple their regime, and we also silence their mouthpiece. Channel 1. Time to wake up.
Out from the shadows, and they are not the overwhelming force they would have you believe. The military have been actioned, and well, it's pretty scary out there tonight, so stay at home and stay with Channel 1. Because the team has assured this programme that the turbulence will soon be over.
Yikes.
And we can once again focus our minds on building the new future.
Oh shit.
With equality, fairness and resources for all. My name is Megan Wolf. Let's make tomorrow better.
Damn it, Alex. Tonight is the beginning of the fall of France. Fighter jet, 11 o'clock.
What the shit?
Charges reached, sir. Permission to detonate. Permission granted, old friend. We are going to detonate. Look over your window, Alex. See what you helped make happen. She's coming
Oh dear. How are we gonna broadcast if that's gone? Oh, I got the A+ on that third sequence. Yeah, that last sequence, I did very well. Disrupt destroyed the Channel 1 broadcast tower. All offensive words were censored. An interference-free show. An exceedingly poor edit. I've done a few of those. Advance angered by content. Disrupt effectively silenced. Disrupt ruined the broadcast. Wait, what? They were supposed to be silenced, right? And like censoring intentionally. Because that was like part of the deal? Yikes, I hope I did the right thing. Broadcast poor. Oh. Not worrying every day. Ah, there we go. Yeah, in my company. I remembered which company I had shares in. There we go. Something to do with this. Maybe there's an achievement if you get through the entire game without breaking the heart of Channel 1. I broke it like right at the start. We're gonna leave that episode there. That was wild. It's wild to just jump straight back in without any practice. Oh, it's tough. It's tough. Getting those edits, especially in the musical section. Although that third section was the best. Yeah, getting the edits just right. It's really tough. But oh my god, I want to keep playing, but I gotta get going. it's so. What's happening? Next day is day 913, an important review. I'm assuming that this chapter is going to be the same as the previous ones, where it's like 3 episodes and then like 1 bonus thing. So yeah, we'll see how this game ends in a couple of episodes' time. I feel like we just saw it. Like, if you want to see more from me, then subscribe. I'm like dazed because of the events. Check the links in the description, hit the share, hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next episode of Not for Broadcast.